I'm Kathy Stone, the creator of the PADS Pattern Drafting Tips, Tricks, and Tutorials Facebook group. Thanks very much for joining. I'm really looking forward to your participation. I'd love to see what you're all working on, and so please don't hesitate to post your successes and your failures, and hopefully, people in the group are going to help you when you get stuck, and that's how we learn. I've been using PADS since 2011. I started taking pattern drafting lessons at the local community college, and sadly work and life got in the way, and I just never really learned the program to its fullest extent. So I'm currently using Pattern Enterprise version 6, and now that I'm retired, it's my goal to become proficient and hopefully to sell my patterns. I love video tutorials. They're a great way to learn. They're clear, they're concise, and you can refer back to them again and again until you figure it out. There are several of you that have come over here from the Pattern Workshop group, and I know you're not familiar with PADS, so I thought the first video that I would do would be a tour of the program to give you an idea so you can see what it's all about. So without further ado, let's get started. PADS is a powerful program. That being said, it's best to break these videos into sections so you don't get information overload. In this video, we're going to explore the Preferences menu. The Preferences are where you can set the different parameters to customize your work area. You're going to go into Options, Preferences. The first tab is the General tab, and under Localization, if you click the down arrow, you're going to see that you can set different languages. If you leave it set to Auto, in most cases, the languages will be your operating system. Export to Clipboard. Here you can set a percentage between 10 and 25. You can adjust the percentage by selecting your up or down arrows. I will tell you that when I have copy and pasted a piece to the clipboard using the different percentages, it posted at the same percentage regardless of what it was set to. So I'm really not quite sure what this is referring to, and the manual doesn't really elaborate on the settings. So if you know what it does, please post it in the group. Undo and redo levels. Here you can set the number of undo levels by entering a value between 3 and 20. This applies to the current document that you're working on. If we go down here to the Manage section, here you can save all these preferences that you're setting. It lets you save it to a current path on your computer by selecting the Save Current To. And so you'll see here that you can select the path to where you're going to remember that you saved all these preferences, and you can either leave it set to the default file name, or you can change it, but just make sure that it has the Pad P extension when you go to save your preferences. So say if you have the program installed on both a desktop computer or a laptop, and your laptop doesn't have the same preferences as your desktop, you can copy the Pad P file to a USB, or if you're on a network, you can simply go into this Load From tab, and you can navigate to where you saved it, and then you can open it, and it should copy it and then apply those preferences. The version control, security copy is next. You want to automatically save a security copy, and then you can set predetermined intervals. I have mine to set it every 10 operations. If you uncheck this box, it's not going to save a security copy. So if you're clearly, it's like any other program. If your computer crashes or the program crashes, you'll lose all the work that you've done at the time that it crashes if you don't save it. So this is clearly a safety precaution. Make sure that you have it set. And then you can also change the path to whatever directory that you choose to save them in by clicking the change button, and then you can navigate to a new folder so that you remember where the work is saved to. Version control and maximum number of change sets. This is predetermined. The maximum number is between 1 and 3 to save it for change set files. The default is 3. If you go into the change set view, which is right here under the file, save change set. For it to work, you must do the file save change set. This feature allows you to view the changes you've made between different files. For example, if you save the original file with save change set and then you go back in and you open that file and you've added 2 inches to a sleeve length or changed your hem allowance or facing or something, you'll hit save change set again and it will save both files. And you can then go to the view menu and select change set view. So the view menu is over here. And this is the change set view here, and it will compare the 2 files so that you can see what exactly you've changed on the file. You can then choose the pieces to be compared from the change set window as well. All of the pieces in the first change set file will display in a pink color so that you can readily see what you've changed, and also the pieces will align at their center point. And then finally we have the version control here. I'm sorry, just said that. You have the pattern assistant. If you have this checked, when you close the file, it's going to automatically check your file for any errors prior to closing. Whenever you do make any changes, you want to make sure that you hit the apply button. The next tab is the display tab. Unit and precision. This lets you choose if you want to work in inches, centimeters, or millimeters. You can set the number of decimal places for when you input a measurement, and you can also have it remove trailing zeros. You can type in the numbers with the up or down arrows again. Inline unit. I believe this is, so if your segment length is in inches and you go to type something in the measurement box, you can just use the abbreviation IN for inches, CM for centimeters, and MM for millimeters. You can also check this box here to display your measurements as a fraction, and if you do that, it's going to ask you to choose a maximum denominator number, which you can set from 0 to 99. Snapping. The grid resolution value is for when you want to move a selection using your arrow keys on your computer. A 1-to-1 resolution movement will be greater than a 1/32 movement. So for instance, if I have the value set as 1-to-1, and I go back in here and I select this segment and I want to move this armhole measurement and I hit my up arrow keys, that's going to be a 1-to-1 movement. And if I go back in there again and change it to 1/32, which I prefer to have it be a smaller movement, and I apply that and hit OK, and then I select the point, it's going to be a much smaller movement, and you have to keep hitting the arrow key for it to get to where you want it to be. The round angle is setting the degree. And you can also adjust this by the up or down arrow keys. You can create a round arrow by holding the Shift key and moving each step as per the angle set at the time. Select your entire piece, select the rotation tool, select your pivot point, select your rotation point, keep holding your mouse key down, select your Shift key, and then rotate, and you can see that it's a finicky tool. Pivot point, rotation point, Shift key, 15, 30, and 45 degrees. This will come into play when you're rotating a piece or an image, or when you're using the symmetry grading tools. The contour line, you can, if you watch the pattern outline over here, you can set it to a thin line, which is what it's at now, or I can check this and apply it, and it's going to make it just a thicker line. Anti-alias is going to smooth out your lines. When you're drawing a segment or curved or straight line, to achieve a more precise drawing, it won't be as jagged. The contour attribute, checking this box will show the characteristic of a selected point. So in other words, if I go in here and I select on here, it's going to tell me that it's a regular point, and if I can click here, it's going to tell me it's a control point. So it's just going to simply tell you what type of point it is that you've got on a certain section of your drawing. The selection color, as you can see, my current piece color here is green. So if I select this and I go to draw a line or a segment, it's going to draw it in green. If I choose here down by the colors, I can have it, I have mine set to red. So if you select current piece color and you apply that, and you select a segment using your arrow key, it's going to select it in the current piece color. If I change it to red and apply, it's going to change your selected segment to the color that you've chosen. Mine happens to be red, and I can also draw in that same color, like so. Background color, you can choose it. Right now it's my system color I have chosen for the background color, which is white, or you can choose to work in a white background. You can switch it here, hit the apply key, it's going to change it to black, and the other one you can apply it and it will be gray. Breaks and colors. These colors are going to differentiate your grading breaks. You can double click on a color and go, it will open up another dialog box. And you can choose from any of the basic colors over here. You can choose from the color palette over here. You can enter RGB colors, hues and saturations, and you can also add a custom color, which is your RGBs and your hues and saturations. You can also go in here and you can rename your sizes. So say if you just want to have small, medium, and large, or if you want you know, your extra small to be a 2X, X small, XX small, whatever you choose to name your sizes, you can do that in here. Choose to display, use the break size color. Choose to display the above color to be applied in break sizes on the grading nest. You use the grading nest colors. Please refer to the colors in the working sizes section to learn more about configuring grading nest colors. These colors will also display in your grading info box, and there's a checkbox in the grading boxes when you start working with your grading, as well as allowing you to show the break colors. If the break colors box is not checked in the grading info, all the text will appear in black. Compatibility. Again, you can customize your pad language by using auto, which will be your system language, or you can choose by scrolling down and choosing a different language here. So actually, text conversion is converting the text in the style files, the SCY files, which is saved in a previous version prior to version 5, to Unicode. So it says the text conversion is to convert the text in an STY files saved in previous versions prior to version 5 to Unicode. Pad language, ask every time, means the system will remind you to choose the language when you've opened any file saved in a previous version anytime. Oh, here, ask every time. That's right there. Look and feel. So you can, right now I have my toolbars stationary up in the menus. So you can also move these by choosing the arrow keys here and then dragging them wherever you want them. If you want to use a floating toolbar, you check this box and hit apply, and it will put all your toolbars in one box, and you can move it wherever you want around the screen. I like to have mine stationary up here. So these are your drawing tools, these are your point tools. I can take your, let's see, it's not going to let me do this unless I move this over to here and give it some room. And then I can also, I always have a hard time doing that, but it will take it and it will move this over to here, and you can arrange them any way you want. Hotkeys. You can go in here and you can set your own hotkeys. These are the defaults. Shortcut keys for the menus and toolbars, or you can create your own. They can be reset by hitting the Reset All button. The only thing to note here, say if you want to set a hotkey for the zoom in and zoom out and you want to set that to Z, you can highlight it and then just press the Z on your keyboard and then hit apply. And then OK. However, you will not be able to set hotkeys to those used by the Windows and Macs. If you try, you'll get a warning message on it to tell you that it's already in use and it's invalid. And your PADS manual will have a list of those that cannot be used, so make sure you check the manual for that. In the Plot tab, here's where you're going to set your printer or your plotter. You can select drivers and configure the different settings and preferences accordingly. Some of you, if you hit the configure key, you're going to see here that you some of the older printers required the COM ports or the files. If you hit the next key, these are the plotters that PADS supports, so you can choose one of those, and you can also select your paper. Actually, mine is my default is my my HP plotter, and so I have different paper widths, but I technically use the 36-inch paper. So you can go in here and you can set up a custom paper width and paper margins, and then you just hit the finish key. If you hit the add button, you can, let's see, you can add a new printer if you have another one, and just go through all the menus again here. And the printer one is gonna, it will recognize all the printers that you actually have on your system, and you can choose here, and you can go in and set up your preferences and your page setup just as you would for any regular printer on your system for any other program. And this will take you into your printer preferences, which will open that up in your control panel. So let's see, and then if your plotter's connected to a network, you would go in here and enter your IP address, your port, the account name, which is pretty much the name of your computer, and then of course your password for your network. And I think that is pretty much it. And that's pretty much it for the preferences in your program. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. Post them in the group, and I'm sure someone will, aside from myself, will be able to answer the questions for you. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I am by no means an expert at the program. There's still a ton of things that I do not know about it. But anyway, I hope this was helpful. I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. If you're interested in purchasing PADS or are interested in private training, please contact PAD System Technologies, Inc. at the email and telephone shown on the screen.